let me ask you a question. If you are employed, if you are in employment, you are on an 8 to 5 job or even part-time employment, night shift or whatever, what would happen if one day you go to the office and you get that dreaded letter on your desk? You have been terminated from employment. What next? What would be your next move? Or how would you handle that situation as far as finances are concerned? Would you still be able to afford your meals? Would you be able to pay your rent if you are renting, that is? Would you still be able to comfortably live your life? Now that's what we are going to address in this video today. Today I'm going to discuss about creating wealth using your salary. Creating wealth using your salary. Whether you have a side hustle or whether you are solely relying on your salary, is it possible to create wealth over time? We all know that for as long as you're in employment, no one is indispensable. Any day you can wake up and you find yourself jobless. If you ever find yourself in such a situation that you go to your workplace and you find yourself jobless, what would life be to you? Bearing in mind that no one is indispensable. So we are going to discuss how to unlock your wealth using your salary. All right? Let's get started. Oh, and as we start, kindly press the subscribe button on your screen. Please like the video and let me know in the comment section if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you wake up with a job and you end the day without a job. How did you handle that situation? Do you know of anyone who lost their job out of the blues? How did they handle that situation? I'll tell you something. There's a friend of mine whom we worked with a couple of years back. I'll not tell you which year because I don't want you to know exactly how old I am. But we worked together a couple of years back. She's been jobless. And she's not job hunting. She's not having a side hustle. Yet she's able to raise her family. And she's comfortable. Living here in Nairobi, in one of the middle class estates. How is she managing? Back then, she had started accumulating wealth in property and through bonds. So she's presently earning her cash flows. She's presently financing her lifestyle, financing her expenses using the coupons for the bonds she had been investing in over time. Definitely, the properties are not giving her any cash flows, but the bonds gives her monthly cash flows. So she's able to shoulder her expenses using these bonds. This can be you. And that story I have told you is not fictional. I'll one day bring her to this channel so that she can share her story with us. It's not fiction. It's doable. And it's doable if you start it now, assuming you had not started before. So how did she manage to get herself into this situation? How did she manage to protect herself? How did she manage to set herself up for that situation when she will be jobless? Now, if you ever want to find yourself in such a situation, first things first, the first thing you need to do is you need to learn to budget. We have talked about budgeting severally. Budgeting is when you list down your expenses, you list down your income, and then you match your expenses to your income. You first need to know how much are you earning. If you're in employment, you have a gross salary of this amount, you have a net salary of this amount. If your net salary, for instance, is 100,000 shillings, your expenses should be below this 100,000 shillings. if you do not budget. Let me paraphrase. A budget is a tool that shows your money or your finances a path to follow. It guides your money. It tells your money where to go. Without a budget, if you do not have a budget, you receive your salary and you start withdrawing, paying little bills or doing whatever expenses you have or sending money here and there, you'll find yourself in a situation where you work from hand to mouth for a very long period of time. Okay? So you always need to show your money where you need your money to go using a budget. How then can you budget? List down your expenses. Every single day, list down your expenses so that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you can see exactly where your money has been going to. The takeouts, the pizza inns, the Galitos, the KFCs, a drink here and there, the Airbnbs for those who use Airbnbs, list down your expenses, your groceries, your electricity bill, your fare, all those things, your salon money, your barbershop, lunch money. List out those expenses, even your 10 o'clock tea, snacks, yeah? List down all those expenses every single day or every week so that at the end of the month, you can look back and see exactly where your money has been going to. So that wherever your money has been going to and you feel it's not so important, you can reallocate those finances. Once you have listed down your expenses, you can then now match it to your income. For instance, if you list down your expense to 120,000 shillings and you have an income of 100,000 shillings, then you will know either one, which is the most important thing, is to trim down your expenses until it fits into the 100,000 shillings, your net salary. And as you do this, remember, you must leave room for savings. So you take your savings portion and then the balance, you fit your expenses into it. Those expenses will include your loan repayment as well. Okay? Budgeting. Showing your money where to go. Giving your money direction. Money is very fluid. If you don't show it the direction to follow, if you don't give it a path to follow, your money will find its own path. And that path that your money finds, more often than not, it's an infinite path. You can never really tell exactly where this money disappeared to. In fact, within 1 week of being paid, you don't have money, you probably have not paid rent as yet, and you can't tell exactly what you did with this money. Budgeting. As you draw up this budget, or once you have budgeted, the second thing that you need to do is have emergency funds. What's an emergency fund? An emergency fund is money you keep aside for unforeseen expenditures. Money you keep aside for unforeseen expenditures. It's a short-term type of savings. You save this money so that in the unlikely event of a job loss, you have something to keep you going. You save this money so that in the unlikely event of death in your family or of a loved one, you have something to pick from. You save this money so that in the unlikely event your car breaks down, you have money to fix it. In the unlikely event you have a tire burst, you have money to fix it. In the unlikely event that anything happens, you have money to fix it. Emergency funds. It's very critical. If you want to accumulate wealth or if you want to grow wealth from your salary, from your payslip. Once you have your emergency funds in place, or as you are working on your emergency funds, you need to have what we call sinking funds. What is sinking fund? A sinking fund is money you keep aside for non-future expenditures. Emergency funds is money you keep aside for unknown expenditures. I need you to know the differences. Emergency funds is money you keep aside for emergencies and known expenditures. You do not know what expenditure you might incur or when you are likely to incur it. You just keep it aside so that in the unlikely event that unforeseen expenditure occurs, you have money to shoulder that expenditures. Sinking funds, on the other hand, this one you already know you are going to incur this expenditure and you know when you'll incur it. So you start keeping money aside now, because if you're paying out of your salary of 100,000 shillings, you are a parent, for instance, you need to pay school fees of 30,000 shillings or 50k. I don't know how much school fees you're paying. You know very well that from this 100k, you are not in a position to take 50k come January next year to pay it. Okay? So what do? Between now and January, you start setting aside portions of this money. If, for instance, you are 10 months from now, your insurance will be falling due. That's another expenditure that you can be having a sinking fund for. So in your insurance sinking funds, okay, you need to pay 40,000 shillings 10 months from now. What do? Every month, you set aside 4,000 shillings in your car insurance sinking fund, so that this is a known expenditure, so that come 10 months from now, when your insurance will be falling due, you don't go to borrow to pay for that insurance, because you already know now that 10 months down the line, your insurance premium will be falling due. So how do you handle that? You set up a sinking fund. So number one, you need to budget. Number two, you need to have your emergency funds. And number three, you need to have sinking funds for your non-future large expenditures. What will happen if you don't have the sinking funds, or if you don't have the emergency funds? You will have to borrow. And what happens when you borrow? You will have to pay with interest. And what happens when you pay with interest? You reduce your spending power. So it's important for you to make sure that you're having these tools, these wealth creation tools, working for you. Budgeting, emergency funds, and sinking funds. Now, that brings us to the fourth point. We are talking about how to create wealth from your payslip, or how to create wealth using your salary. You need to avoid consumer debt. Avoid by all means consumer debt. Now, once you are budgeting already, once you have your emergency funds, once you have your sinking funds, it will be very possible or easy for you to avoid consumer debt. What's consumer debt? Consumer debt is the debt that you take to quote unquote consume. The money you borrow to go for a holiday. The money you borrow to buy your clothes or upgrade your wardrobe. The money you borrow for your baby's birthday. The money you borrow to consume. It's not earning you more money. You're not acquiring any asset with it. You use it for as your disposable income. Take, for instance, the case of a birthday. My kids' birthdays is in February. So if I know I'm the kind of a parent who wants to throw a birthday party for my kids, why would I need to wait for until February, to borrow money to throw a birthday for my children? You can set up a sinking fund for that birthday party. If you plan on spending 30,000 shillings or 20 or even 10,000 shillings, every month you can set up a sinking fund for that amount, so that come February, you have your birthday stress-free without having borrowed. Avoid consumer debt. Fifth point, how to create wealth from your salary. You need to save. Develop a saving culture. Develop a saving culture. And this money that you're saving needs to be saved in a high interest earning account. Save it in a high interest earning account. Saving money in a piggy bank in your house is losing you money. It is losing you money. Money which is not earning interest money is very stubborn, by the way. Money is very stubborn. It either needs to be earning interest to earn you value. If it's not earning interest, it is losing you money. It can't sit pretty. It has to follow a direction. It could either be earning you money or losing you money. Money is very stubborn, but also very obedient. If you direct it to earn you money, it will earn you more money. If you neglect it, it will also lose you money. So learn to save in a high interest savings account. Which are some of these high interest savings accounts? In our commercial banks, in our banking sector, there are banks that offer high interest savings accounts. Like if you look at the billboards of the road, you must have seen some that earns you as high as 11%. If you have a bank offering you 11% per month on your savings, why would you want to continue running a bank account that earns you no interest on your money? Does it make sense? Money is stubborn and also very obedient. Your money must be earning you more money. Your savings must be earning you more money. High interest. You can also save in the money market funds. The money market funds and the commercial banks particularly are very good saving accounts for your emergency funds and for your sinking funds. Why? Because these are accounts that allows you access to your money quite easily. They are liquid accounts. They are highly liquid. They are also safe. Safe and highly liquid. So you can get a money market account to save your emergency funds. If you don't have an emergency funds, no problem. You can always accumulate your emergency funds. You can work on accumulating your emergency funds. Use an interest earning account to store your emergency funds. Also use a high interest earning account to keep aside your sinking funds. Okay? And then, once you have saved, you have started this culture of saving, I need you to take advantage of the compounding effect. The power of compounding. What's the compounding effect? The compounding effect is when money you have earned or earns you more money. And that you can achieve from money market funds or from these bank saving accounts that accrues interest and credits to your account monthly. Something else that you need to do to accumulate wealth or to create wealth or to grow your wealth from your salary or from your payslip is educate yourself. Financial awareness. By the mere virtue of the fact that you are watching this video, you are on the right track. If you have subscribed to this channel, you are on the right track. You have a thirst for getting educated on financial awareness. I'm happy when for those who've already come to my inbox asking me how to go about some of these things, especially investment in bonds. You are the reason I do these videos. invest in educating yourself. Gather as much knowledge as you can. Learn about these different investment instruments. Learn about budgeting. Learn about sinking funds. Learn about emergency funds. Learn, invest in learning. Educate yourself. Information is out there. Click the notification bell for this video because the videos that are uploading are some of the things that you need to accumulate wealth, or you need to create wealth, or to grow your wealth using your payslip. Once you have done these steps I have told you, you're already budgeting, you have your sinking funds, you have your emergency funds, you're not in any debt, you're not in consumer debt, and you're already saving. Once your money starts to grow, you can now consider hiring the services of professionals. When you're now diversifying your portfolio, for instance, you have saved enough money in the money market funds, you have your emergency funds in check, and you have these extra funds that you now want to save. If you are not very much conversant with the different investment vehicles, or how to grow your wealth, how to compound your wealth, you can hire the services of a professional. It will come at a cost, but it will benefit you. Okay? For instance, if you want to go into investment in the stock market is very volatile. You can easily make a lot of money. You can also lose a lot of money. So if you want to go into the stock market, for instance, you are diversifying your portfolio. You have saved and your wealth has grown. Now you want to diversify. You are saving in a money market fund. You have already started buying the treasury bonds. You have maybe some treasury bills. You have your fixed deposit in the account. You have your circle. For those who are into circles, you can hire the services of a professional to help you multiply this wealth faster. This is what they do every other day. They know where to keep the monies and when to pull out of that investment. They know which treasury bond to take and which one to skip. They know which money market fund will be safe and offer you high interest, and they know which one to shy away from. So you can always hire the services of a professional. Now, another thing that you may need to do so as to accumulate wealth when you are on a salary, or to grow wealth when you're on a salary, on a payslip, is to consider having a side hustle if your job allows. But remember, I had asked you a question. What would happen if you wake up today, prepare, and when you get to your workplace, you realize you're jobless? You will know the answer, and you'll know the right thing to do. Finally, for you to grow your wealth using your salary, you need to learn to protect your wealth. Learn to protect your wealth. How do you protect your wealth? Budgeting, emergency fund, sinking funds, and then you can take up insurance covers. You can take up an insurance cover to protect your wealth. If you don't have wealth now to protect, unataka kuchukua insurance ya kufanya nao nini? What do you want to protect? Grow your wealth. Once it has grown, protect your wealth. Now that you have an idea how to create and grow your wealth when you're on a payslip, would you please let me know in the comment section which of these 10 steps I have told you has worked for you? Are you having a challenge with any of these points? Are you having a challenge with budgeting? Are you having a challenge with the emergency funds? Do you have an emergency funds to begin with? Do you have a sinking fund? Are you struggling with debt? Which of these has worked for you, and which one of them are you struggling with? Do you need any help? Leave me a comment in the comment section. Thank you so much for being with me. See you in the next video.